Hello and welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World, resources for living with authenticity and purpose. So today we're going to talk about being in the moment or being here now, or as I like to talk about it, is learning from the moment that you fell out of. Now, be here now or the moment is all we have are phrases that I hear a lot. But what do these words really mean? And how can we accomplish being present in this busy, hectic, uncertain world? How can we stop from being pulled out of the moment by our imperfections? So let's talk a little bit about that. Now, the phrase be here now really is just another way of reminding us to be fully present to whatever is happening in our life. Whether you are driving a car, you drive that car. You don't do anything, but you're totally focused on driving that car. Or when you speak to another person, you listen intently to what that other person is saying. So when you're driving a car, you don't cut another person off. You drive safely. You don't, and in that way, you don't find yourself trying to cut somebody off because you needed to make a turn and get off the highway. You're anticipating things so you're not driving a little crazy. When you are speaking to another person, you're not cutting off the words of another person or formulating a response before they even finish speaking. You recognize that the nature of a conversation is to listen with intent and to respond with compassion after they finish speaking. But I have to say, most importantly, when we're in the present moment, we live with a stance of understanding. We willingly look at the world with fresh eyes. So we're less likely to be hypercritical. We're less likely to judge. We are listening with the intent to understand, and that doesn't mean that we're going to agree. We're listening to understand. We see the wonder, we see the distractions in the world while perceiving our potential response, our reaction to it. And really, through that stance of understanding, we soften our perception of the world. And what do I mean by soften our perception of the world? We really listen to what is happening, not to shame or blame ourselves or another person, but we listen because that's our only option. That we're always wondering, why is this person doing what they're doing? Why are we reacting or responding in the way that we're doing? It's to better understand ourselves and the world around it. We can also learn from moments when we're not present. And that's what I'm talking about when I say we learn from the moments we fell out of. So what I would like for you to do is to think about a time when you made an assumption and you reacted from it, only later to discover the fallacy or the lie of what your perception was. So have you got that thought? Have you got the memory? Now I want you to ask yourself, how did you feel when you made the assumption? Remember, no answer is wrong. Now I'm going to ask you, how did you feel whenever you discovered the fallacy? Were there ramifications of your actions? And if so, what were they? How did this situation change you? And probably most importantly, what did you learn from the moment that you fell out of? Perhaps you learned a myriad of things. Maybe you learned the consequences of not being in the moment. Maybe you learned that when you were so busy judging or making assumptions that you lost critical information. Maybe you lost trust, or maybe peace was gone. No matter what the lesson, and it could be something, it could be one of these or something totally different. If you learned it, you were propelled back into the moment, back on track of being in the present moment. So how might you dive deeply into the moment, growing those roots down into the moment so you're less likely to make assumptions or judgments? I have 3 suggestions, and I'm sure that you're going to be able to find many more than 3, but these are the 3 that I find are most beneficial to me. Consciously feel the connection of your foot to the ground. So sometimes when I leave the house in the morning and I really want to be connected in the moment, I will roll heel to toe for 5 steps and really notice everything around me and be in the moment, not thinking about what's going to happen once I get to the job, not thinking about what happened before I lock the door, really be in the moment. The second way of being in the moment is to focus on your breath. What I like to do again is that the number 5 is powerful for me. And so I like to breathe in and inhale and exhale 5 times. Again, really being mindful not only of what is occurring outside, but being mindful of what's going on internally and seeing how that changes me as well. After those 5 breaths, I refocus on the moment. I recommit to being in the moment. And then the last thing is not so much a how do I get back in the moment, but really a learning experience. So learn what triggers pop up and how they pop up. So anytime you have a reaction, instead of saying bad person, no, we're not doing that. When a reaction happens, ask yourself, why did I react? What was the underlying root of that? And then learn. Begin to figure out how your body is responding to those triggers and learn how to diffuse those. Perhaps being more important than being here now is to remember to start where you are. We're all somewhere along the mindfulness continuum. So if I'm here and you're a little bit farther along than me, it doesn't make any difference. We're all learning how to grow and deepen our mindfulness practice to live contemplatively. And where you start where you are, you have no expectations about your behavior or your need to blame or shame your reactions. What you bring to the moment is a willingness to consciously and intentionally respond in the moment. And that intent makes all the difference in the world. So I want to thank you for listening to my video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Follow my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, Intent and Action. Check out my website, www.intentandaction.com, or follow me on Twitter @FireSerpent, FYRSERPENT. But most importantly, find strategies for living in the moment. Thanks and have a great day.